Hello and welcome back to another episode of Psycosmos. On today's episode, we're going to discuss the coronavirus, the serious virus that is sweeping the nation of China.
What?
You mean the beer, right?
No, not the beer.
Are you sure?
I don't know. Do you want a beer?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's beer o'clock somewhere.
Beer o'clock?
What time is it in China right now?
It's going to be exactly opposite. So it is like midnight there right now.
Beer time.
That's
Let's do it.
Time for beer.
Alright, so today we're discussing this very serious virus that has arisen out of someone eating improper food. And the animal had it, and then it got passed on to a human. Interestingly enough, I have friends over there from my experience during the Panda volunteer program who I've been in contact with that are telling me that it is worse than what we see right now over here. The last I checked, the number was about 25,000 are infected, and out of that 25,000, we do not know how many are actually dead. I've seen mixed numbers reported between 300 and 1,000. Even it might be worse, I don't know.
It's really serious, and it's kind of unfortunate to see a lot of people freaking out about it, and I think like the wrong way. It's misdirected. Like they're more freaked out about how scary the virus itself is, and not how scary it is for the people that are dealing with the outbreak and that don't have ready access to ways to deal with the virus. Like that's the scary part.
Yes.
It's not like this virus it's a rare form of, as far as I understand, a similar virus like the common cold or the flu, but it's more in the category of like something like SARS or something.
Yes.
So it's much more serious. It's like a serious upper respiratory infection. It's unfortunate to see people here in the media talk about it and talk about how scary this virus is, specifically even for people here that have much more ready access to medical. And it's not to say that it's not a big deal if somebody were to get this virus. It's just that I think more attention should be put on the people who are literally dropping dead because it's so bad and they don't have a way to get out of this.
I completely agree with that because the situation is that out of control right now, and I think China's doing their best to kind of accommodate everyone for this. But it's a matter of staffing, a matter of supplies, a matter of food as well. Last I checked, the amount of food is, you have to feed billions of people, so it's increasingly difficult when people can't leave their homes.
And there's no sort of cure or vaccination, right?
Right now, I believe they're working on it. Last I checked, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Do you have any initial thoughts on all of this?
I think, in my head, I think the biggest thing comes down to, like, you mentioned people are worried about it. I think the biggest way you prevent yourself from getting any sickness is you just keep good habits, wash your hands.
Don't touch your face.
Yeah.
Wash your hands and don't touch your face. 4 years ago, I stopped getting sick. Do you know what I did?
You started washing your hands?
I started washing my hands and I stopped touching my face. And guess what? I have not been sick since. What a surprise. Thank you. I'm gonna wash my hands now. So to follow up on some of the other things that we discussed just now, I can understand that, especially in social media, a lot of people are using this humor as maybe a coping mechanism to deal with this, even myself included partially.
Well, that's what we're doing. Okay, right.
But when I started to kind of look more into this and have that first-hand source from my friends over there who said to me, no, like, I have been quarantined in my own house for 20 days. We have not left. It kind of really then puts things in perspective because you don't know when you're going to be able to go out and get food. You don't know the people that you see in your daily life, on your day-to-day basis. You don't know how they're doing. You don't know who has it.
Just to touch on that too, with the whole thing with social media, we have the luxury of having a good amount of knowledge about what's going on, and generally speaking, and not even just with this one particular problem, but with a bunch of different problems. And it's not to say that we have the special insight nobody else has. But it's just compared to the people who are living under this government that specifically tries to keep information from them and to keep things under wraps.
Yes.
Not even just for them, for the world. It's like that's where the real fear is.
Yes,
and not knowing.
And on that, I don't think we're seeing any accurate numbers coming out of China currently. I think that they are trying to kind of, keep the public maybe calm about this. But at that point, it really becomes a double-edged sword, where it's, do we want to kind of keep this information out of the mainstream media to kind of alleviate some of the stress that everyone might be having? Or do we want to inform the public, that way they can better themselves, make the right decisions to prevent themselves and their loved ones from getting this virus? So
yeah.
It's very dangerous kind of how you find a balance in that. And I do think that there is a balance. And I do think that, there's definitely a right for people to know certain things that are going on within the place that they inhabit, in their nation, in their country. I have a source over there who has actually sent me a video that unfortunately I will not be able to share with you, but I can describe the video for the folks watching at home. So from my understanding, my friend who sent me this video was able to get this video from another source who is directly in Wuhan, the city that has where the infection had begun. And in this video, you see a person who has their cell phone out and it's first person, and they're basically just kind of scanning a room in a hospital, and that it eventually leads to a hallway. And in the room it is body bag, body bag, body bag, and then the camera moves to the left, it comes down the hall to another corridor, and again, body bag on a bench, body bag on a bench, body bag on a bench.
And then there's people just sitting there.
And then there's people just
yeah. I don't mean just sitting there like having a time of life. I mean sitting there as like people who are very sick and scared in the hospital would sit there hunched over with a couple of them have something like have like masks on or like a handkerchief on.
And
their
in
face.
front of them is all just this death, as if they're staring death in the face. So that is really just horrific and chilling. And I think even you used the perfect word in our discussion chat the other day. It's harrowing. Mm-hmm. It's really harrowing to see this. And given the fact that I have friends over there who I am deeply close with, it's kind of it definitely hurts more that way. So just keep in mind when moving forward with maybe some jokes about this or some type of, and hey, like I get it. I totally see the side where it's like, oh, like something's happening here. We had the World War III jokes, and now we have the coronavirus jokes, and et cetera, et cetera. Like, hey, I get it, but also kind of zoom out and think of the big picture here, and think about if this type of situation was happening right in your hometown. They have built, I think, like 5 or 6 pop-up hospitals, and it's like, you don't just go and do that. Right? You don't just go and build pop-up hospitals for the sake of doing it. No, like they obviously need more room for people. And I think, as you mentioned before, Rich, they recently sent out the drones. Do you want to?
Yeah. Apparently, like this was, I think, news to a lot of people, but apparently China has the equivalent of, I'm not like sure of the exact model, but they basically have small drones, the equivalent of an army, some large number. I'm not sure the exact number, but a large enough number that you would look up in the sky and find it pretty disconcerting, I'm sure. And they had them go around to specific areas, I think predominantly heavily populated cities, and they sprayed I'm not an expert, I don't know if it's like disinfectant, something to help with the cleansing. Maybe not that word, but something to I guess reduce it spreading, having the airborne ability to spread.
And with that said, I can say I only hope that this technology can furthermore help the people, and that they can have enough staff to kind of tackle this issue, and that we can continue to see the infection rate go down, which I believe last I checked, the infection rate has finally went below the cure rate, or the how fast they're able to treat this. So I can only hope that before you know it, we will see this completely wiped out. And again, for those at home, wash your hands and don't touch your face.